Hello. Well, I do feel a bit embarrassed now because Rafael's presentation was very professional and I have prepared nothing similar to that. But I will do my best. So my name is Dimitris. I am a software developer. No PowerPoint slides for you today, I'm afraid. I'm mostly, I guess, known for my biggest project currently being an Amiga emulator for ARM devices, AmiBerry. It started its life on the Raspberry Pi and all that, but we're not going to talk about that today. What I want to show you today is another project I recently started, which started out almost as a joke. Well, you know, the recent trend of people moving to Mastodon, especially since the recent developments in Twitter. So there were a few mentions there about clients for different old or platforms that you normally don't expect to have modern software. Things like MS-DOS getting a Mastodon client or macOS Classic getting a Mastodon client. So when I saw that there wasn't any Amiga version of it, I first joked about it and said, well, we need an Amiga version, right? And everybody agreed, but since I saw nobody's actually doing anything about it, I thought maybe I should try it out and see what happens, and maybe I can do something about it. So it started out like that, and a few weeks later, I had a working prototype just to see how far I can take it and what's possible to do with that idea. And it has been slowly developing since then. I started the thing on using Hollywood. Hollywood is a developer system for Amiga, or actually multi-platform, which is easy to set things up and create prototypes and proof of concepts and see what you can do with it. It's not the best regarding performance or optimization or speed, for example, but it does get the job done. So I wanted to start quickly with something and just to see if I'm going to hit a roadblock really, really soon and won't be able to get it further than that. So for now, I do have a version I can show you. It's still a work in progress. It hasn't been released yet. When it's ready, it will be made available both on GitHub and also as a binary, of course, so anybody can take a look at it and improve it or fork it or whatever. And it's not, like I said, there will be bugs. It's not pretty completely finished, and it keeps evolving and changing. But I can show you what we have at the moment. And we'll see. I can share maybe the whole screen, so that way we can see. I have my favorite, or second favorite, Amiga VM here, WinUAE running, with a copy of my real Amiga environment in there. And I have Mastodon running on a browser on this side, just to compare what's there. So Amidon is basically this little tool. It has no proper icon yet. That's coming at some point. And currently, I'm working on this layout. There are currently two layout options. I can show you the other one, but this is the one that has most of the work done so far. There are some settings here where you can define your server instance, the Mastodon server instance. You can use the login button to log in. The first time you start it up, I have already logged in there. You see my avatar in the background. And you have, for now at least, you have two GUI options, simple or advanced GUI. The simple one is the one you're seeing at the background. The advanced one, you have to restart the application to see it. Unfortunately, that's a Hollywood limitation. Looks like this. So the advanced one is basically modeled on the look and feel of the native website, where you have multiple columns and each column can contain different things. But like I said, this is the layout works here so far, but the content is not there. The buttons are not there yet. So this is sort of a work in progress, this version of it. So I will switch back to the other one and show you the things that actually work so far. So what can you do with this so far? You can post new messages here. For instance, something like this. And you can see while you're typing this text here, this fantastic text here, you also see, as you would expect, the character indicator there to go down. You can hit publish, and this goes out. And just proof that it does go out, you can go back here and you can see, well, if we open up my profile, I guess we can see our own tweets. This is it. Tags and all work as expected. So if this will automatically become a link and it will show you any reference of Amidon. That's nothing to do with the client. That happens on Mastodon's backend anyway. So you can post new things. These buttons are work in progress. They don't actually do anything, but eventually you will be able to add images, video, audio, or add a poll, as it says here, or change the post privacy. These are all talking to the API behind the scenes. So they will just do what they say. If you go to notifications, you can refresh this page and you will see a list of notifications like you would see here. You should see the same list of notifications. So it's again modeled on the same look and feel. So you have notifications, all kinds of notifications here, and mentions only. So if we go to mentions and refresh this one, you would see the same mentions that we see here. And you can select one of these. This is one area where things are not as pretty as the real thing, obviously, and that's due to limitations. I'm using the Magic User Interface for the toolkit here, and I can't really show you HTML inside that. There is some support for HTML, and that's also another bit of a pain because there is an HTML class in Magic User Interface called HTML View. The problem with that one is it doesn't really work with newer versions of the Magic User Interface. It only works up to version 3.9, but anything newer like 4 or 5, and it shows you no content. Fun times. So regardless, I have implemented a double click on this, which will open up in HTML view. So you will see the content formatted as it is. The version you see back here is plain text. So I'm stripping out HTML when I'm showing it into the list view to make it more readable. And if you double click on it, you will see the full thing, minus the image here. I'm not really sure why it's not showing. Still, this is something I added today, so I'll keep looking. And of course, the buttons here, these actually work. So if I select this and click on this one, will have all of them have tooltips. So again, they are in the same order as the ones on the Mastodon website. So they are reply, boost, favorite, bookmark, share, and which I haven't implemented, and more, which I haven't implemented yet either. So the ones you can actually see here are, again, reply, boost, favorite, bookmark, and more, which does nothing at the moment. But I can click on reply. It will take you here. It will automatically fill in the reply to, and you can write down your reply. Something like that, and publish that, and that will go out, and we can also see that. If we go here, and actually, no, I have to go to my profile and click on posts and replies. And you will see that this one was a reply to this one, which was a reply to this one, and so on. So that works. And in the same way, the favorite and the boost will work also. So this one currently is not marked as favorite, but I can click the button here and I can refresh the page and it will be marked, or it should have been marked as favorite. It doesn't work at the moment because I've been toying with this all day. One of the things I've been testing with, and it's currently in development, is that these buttons obviously should be a toggle button. So you can see when you select one, is it already marked as a favorite or not? And I was also testing adding the buttons in here. So when you double click on one, you don't have to go back if you want to reply, boost, favorite, or whatever. So that's the part that I didn't deploy out yet. So you don't really see implemented here, but that's the next step. As I said, there have been a lot of revisions in the look and feel and the functionality on this, trying to make it better and trying to make it easier to navigate and all that. These also work. So you will see the posts, the hashtags, news. And for you, these are the same links that you would see over here. And local, that's the local timeline. Federated timeline, again, the same thing. DMs, I don't think I have any. Oh, I do have some. Forgot about those. Favorites, you will get the list of favorites that you have. Bookmarks, if you have any. I don't have any. And lists, I don't have any. And friend requests, there is one that follow requests, sorry, not friend requests. So all of these actually work already. The things that I'm working on is improving the feeling of the actions, essentially, that you can take with these buttons and the content in here. That's the next step. Like I said, Hollywood is pretty easy to start with and it gives you a lot of functionality out of the box, but it's not the best for performance. So I would like to improve on those points, make it smaller in size and make it faster, but also possibly have more capabilities, because right now I'm also restricted with what the toolkit of Hollywood allows me to do. So my plan was to get this version somewhat working, get it out, published, so the people can play with it, and then maybe work on a new version, which would be based on C, now that I have all the backend already laid out. It's not hard to reuse a lot of the code that I have written and rewrite the whole thing in C from scratch, which should make it much faster. The reason I didn't do it in C from the beginning is that it would take me a lot more time to get something working, and I wanted to explore, is it even possible? Or are we going to run into something that absolutely doesn't work? Like, for example, there's no way to display this, or there's no way to do that in AmigaOS, therefore it's a dead end. But from what I've seen, everything is possible, essentially, even if you have to make some compromises here and there. So we'll see. Depending on the interest, there might be a future version 2 of this that will be better, faster, and all that. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's a quick demonstration of how this thing works and what is there at the moment and what's not there at the moment. And hopefully there will be some questions and some interest, and we can take it from there.
Good, many thanks, Dimitris. Looks nice. I'm looking now on Facebook if there is any question. No, not at the moment. I don't know if anybody attending has any question. Otherwise, I have a few. No questions? Okay. Well, you already answered the language, because I was going to ask about C.
Yep.
But then, so at the moment, you're still developing this alone. Are you looking for teammates on that? So I suppose you have it on GitHub or somewhere, or is that available? Do you have the link shared somewhere?
Yep. For now, it's just me, and I haven't really given it enough time to. That's why it's moving slowly, like I said, because I also have a bunch of other projects to work with, and so this is like a part-time project. Whenever there is time to work on something, and I need to take a break from something else. But it's not huge in the sense that it needs a lot of people working on it either. So I think it's okay for now. The plan is to, like I said, open source it. I already have it on GitHub, but currently it's a private repository. Reason being that mostly because I keep changing things around, and I want to have a first version out before I make it public. So there is at least something that won't change too much after it's out there. And then if I get started on a new version, that will be again another open source project. Generally, I prefer working on open source projects. And people are, of course, free to join in as soon as this is made public and help out, or if they have different ideas and if they want to do their own thing, they can fork it and do that, like in all open source projects. What was the other question? You had another question.
I think you answered.
I think I answered all of them.
Yes, yeah. yes. But then I still have another one. When is it
regarding the link?
To
yes,
be released?
No. The link will be under GitHub's under Blitter Studio. I can show you that page already. It's not there. It's not visible there at the moment.
No, that's what you said, that it would be currently
under
it's a hidden
this organization eventually. Well, it's already there, as you can see, but it's private.
Yeah. Okay.
So just need to switch it to public at some point.
Yeah. And by when do you expect the first release then?
But I think it's not too far away now. And like I said, I think at the moment I need to fix this implementation about the pop-up here and add the same thing in the rest of the, once it's done. Currently, this only works in the notifications area. Add the buttons in here, add the same logic then into the next areas here. And I think for a first version, that would be good enough as soon as that works. So maybe a few more weeks. Depends on the time I can spend on it, really.
Okay, good. So that means once you have a fully working AmiBerry version for the Android, then there is already an Amidon client, a Mastodon client for it as well.
Oh, let's not go to that Android discussion. Just 2 more weeks, like the quote said, right?
Yeah. I'm looking again on Facebook. No more questions here. Anybody? Last chance. No, if you have question that pops up, then you can always put it in the chat later on.
This is my Mastodon profile, so you can always find me there as well and throw any questions at me there as well if you want. Perfect. I'm also in other places, but that since we're talking about Mastodon here.
Good. Many, many thanks, Dimitris.
Thank you.
I will stop the recording now.